Hello, everybody. How are we doing? It's been a while. Good to be back. How are you, Tommy? Thanks for coming.
I'm all right. I was having a little jig to the intro music there. That was good.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of beat about it, isn't it? It's got a little bit of a beat about it.
I'm all excited for the intro music. But yeah, I'm good. How are you? How are you
doing? All good, thank you, mate. Just been flying around. This is the first weekend in 3 that I've been at home, so been for good reasons as well. I went to Munich. More on that in a bit, but I went to Munich at the start of March, first weekend in March. Then the following weekend, on the Friday, I drove down to the French Alps to go skiing, and then obviously skied and then came home last weekend. So it's just nice to be at home, chilled, having a beer. What about you? What have you been up to?
Not a great deal to report. Very much just been at work and making the odd video, really. Hopefully things are about to get exciting. I'm going away very soon. Don't know how much content will come of it, but I've got one video in mind. If it could flop, it'll be a good video if I can get what I want to get out of it. But that's not down to me. That's down to the availability of products. So we'll find out soon. But otherwise, not a great deal to report, which I know is very boring entry to a live stream. I'd tell you loads of exciting things. But, I'm just trying to think of something to really. All I can do is complain about the quality of beer that I've drank in the last month. That's about as far as I'm going to get.
Yeah. It's been a bit like that, hasn't it? I don't think the new. I mean, I know you. I think you alluded to it in your Yorkshire bitter from Northern Monk,
the last video,
thing, and it's like. Yeah, I think even the supermarket, which was always a pretty safe haven to find one or two little gems, is sort of letting people down now. And yeah, it's a shame. But if we're talking quality beer, Tom, you're about to open what I consider a really good beer, probably an underrated beer, actually. I think the Münchner Hell from Paulaner.
Yes,
I think it's quite underrated.
But yes, there we go. Everyone knows what it is, I think, by this point. Paulaner Münchner Hell. It's just a solid lager, and even if you're paying over the odds at who is it that stocks this? I know Morrison's do it. Is it Marks and Spencer's do it, don't they?
Yeah, I think Tesco's did, and they stopped.
Yeah, but even if you're at the premium end of those three with M&S, it's still only like a £2.50, £2.60 bottle. So
can't moan at that.
Yeah. Cannot.
Talking of £2.50 bottles, I have got a bottle of the Benedictina Hell. So Benedictina, as far as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody in the comments, but I think Benedictina are at least part of Bitburger in some way. And as I've said on this channel a few times before, Adnams, who are my big regional brewer out here in the east of England, they are an importer for Bitburger. So I go to the Adnam shop in my town, and there's always some pretty decent German stuff on the shelf. And this was £2.49, which you can't really moan at. And that's not out of a supermarket.
No, that's pretty good. That is pretty good.
So, Gaz Bowden, how you doing, mate? He says Tesco still do the Paulaner. Well, yes. It's funny because I saw on someone's. I saw a video, Tom. I don't know if it was yours. I can't remember whose it was, but someone talked about the Hofbrau in Morrison's, the Hofbrau Original Lager.
Not me.
And that hasn't been in my Morrison's for about a year. And apparently it's still in some Morrison's. And I thought the amount I was buying a week, I thought I might sort of, I thought that would keep them stocking it, but apparently not. So
no, mine's not had any. I had a flurry of German stuff in the October, November, December of 2020, so COVID year, because obviously Oktoberfest didn't happen. So they shipped a load more out. I got a load of my Morrison's then. There was a little bit the following year, and then nothing since. So it's solid nearly 3 years now since I've had any amount of German stuff in my local Morrison's, which is a shame.
But if we're going to talk about German beer, I might as well start talking about Munich now. I had a good time there, as Tom knows.
Yes, he did.
There was Was it the Friday night? There was a drunken phone call in the early hours, or the late hours. It might have been the late hours actually. We've been doing it all day, so we didn't go on too long. But yeah, had a fantastic night that particular night in the Hofbrauhaus, which was an experience.
I bet.
Vibrate. There we go. Sorry, it's just gone off. Yeah, we went to the Hofbrauhaus on the Friday night. That was just like mind-blowingly good. Even to like the food. The food was just incredible.
Ooh, what did they do? Is it quintessentially German?
It was literally any type of pork, be it sausage, pork knuckle, schnitzel, pork steaks, chops, anything like that, with sauerkraut and mashed potato. If you know,
okay. You can have any pork you want, but the sides will be the same.
Yeah, it pretty much was that. And we found out. I've talked a lot about this sweet honey mustard, but it's known as sweet. Do you remember this? Do you remember I've talked about this before?
You have, yeah.
Many times, literally every stream, or any time Germany's mentioned. We found out it's called sweet Bavarian mustard, and it was just every beer hall and every restaurant did it, and it was just I must have ate half a ton of that stuff in 3 days. It was incredible. Even at the airport, they were selling it, and I bought some to bring home. So, yeah, fantastic, absolutely brilliant. Hofbrauhaus was just incredible. Friday night, the place was pumping. There was a group of 12 of us. We managed to get a table all together. Literally, we walked in. They were like, "Good luck, boys." We walked in, and literally, as we walked in, there was a table of 16 that got up and left. It was like, wow, this is perfect. And we stayed in there most of the night. The end of the night ended up with me drinking. Listen to this, and then Tom knows this because I sent him photos. The hotel that we were staying in had a fridge, and it was like an honesty fridge. And within that fridge, there was all the usual stuff. Weirdly, Summersby cider that seems to be the only cider sold in Europe. But in amongst all of that stuff, there was Augustiner Helles. That was like the lager, which is like one of the best Helles lagers in the world for me, like in terms of like easily available. Then there was Spaten, Franziskaner wheat beer, Franziskaner Dunkelweiss. It was just incredible. They even had some Spaten Oktoberfest beers in the fridge. My last memory of that night is buying a bottle of Augustiner, and then like in the social club I'm part of, which we were there with. You get chucked out at 45, and it's a bit of a celebration because you put a lot of effort in. And I just remember spraying a whole bottle of Augustiner over my friend Dom, who was getting kicked out that weekend. And then from there on, it just got weird.
There it got weird. That was the same.
And that was just the Friday night.
Friday night. Okay.
I did acquire. I know it's nothing new, but these are from the Hofbrauhaus. I got 2 because I thought I'd break them. And then on the last day, which we'll talk about in a bit, I went to the Mecca of beer, the oldest brewery in the world.
Yeah, some good stuff too.
Yeah, was good. Fantastic weekend. Let's get some comments. Lager Logs, happy Friday, boys. Cheers. Cheers to you, Tom and Stu. We know it's Stu. How you doing, Stu? You all right, mate? Gaz Bowden, enjoying the little wheat beer. Is that the Patronus? I believe it is, isn't it? The Patronus wheat beer in Lidl.
To me, that name is either an oil company or a Harry Potter spell, but never a beer.
Yeah.
But I've not had that one actually. If it's all right, I might give it a go for £1.35. It seems like it's worth the risk.
Guys, is it the Patronus? If it sorry. Jesus. I've been away for 2 months off of YouTube and I can't even drink a beer.
Drink beer and talk anymore.
If it is the Patronus one, that is very, very good. And it's not even just good for the money, it's a good beer altogether. Rasco and Disco, oi, beautiful beer peeps. Willkommen nach Freitag. Welcome to Friday. Prost. Good to see you, good sirs.
Cheers, Disco.
Rasco and Disco beer review. Good to see your hairy Fizzogs back on my screen on a Friday, mate. Thanks for coming in. Yes, good to. I rang Tom yesterday and I was kind of discussing the YouTube stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm quite up for a live today. And I rang Tom and he was like, oh, I'm doing bits today. I might make it, I might not. And I was like, and and I'm glad he's here because this was probably the biggest part of YouTube that I used to enjoy.
I wanted to. I just had a lot of stuff to do today, but I managed to race through it, so we're good.
There we go. Gaz Bowden says, no, the recent one that's seasonal. What make is it, Gaz? Well, message me on Instagram if you're on Instagram at the Craft Beer Hub.
I'm going to look right now.
Il Corvo, how you doing, good sir? Patronus is decent. It used to be better, but still decent value. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying it's decent. I bought a bottle probably 2 years ago. So the recipe might have changed in that time. Sometimes they do, don't they? But
the Patronus is a Perlenbacher and it's £1.39.
Okay. What's this seasonal one then?
I'm looking for it now.
I mean, we had some insane beers in Munich. There was a few places we wanted to go, but we did go to it was called the Zum Franziskaner. I'm not entirely sure what Zum is in German. Is it like center or
Zum?
Central?
I don't know. My German's not very good, unfortunately.
ZUM is. And that was just, yet again, incredible food. I had a Franziskaner Dunkel there on keg that was just insane. There was some pretty cool stuff going on. It's a can. It's just called wheat beer. Yes, that's the Oktoberfest wheat beer, isn't it? That's the one with the... it's got like a yellow... It's kind of got yellow accents on it, isn't it? And then they do a Helles lager, don't they? Normally released around Oktoberfest time. But I remember that. Yeah, I remember that can being all right. My mother-in-law bought me some. And I remember it being quite good.
I can't even remember seeing it.
It's just literally got a very cartoony, generic German scene along the bottom of the can. And then the top of the can, from memory, it's got a yellow oval and it just says wheat beer.
Okay. I'll keep an eye out.
But yes. Rascon Disco says, Zum means something to the... Okay, that kind of makes sense. It was just up the road from the Spartan HQ that I didn't bother going in. But yeah, Munich, what a place. It feels like a town. It's kind of got this towny vibe to it. There's so many different angles of Munich. And everything's within a 10-minute walk, generally. If you haven't been, I really, really recommend going. I went probably 10 years ago, but I wasn't that into my beer. Wasn't much into my beer, so I didn't really appreciate it. I didn't even realise I had been to the Augustiner Keller. I didn't think I'd gone there, but we went back this year, and it was just incredible. They had a dark beer. There was like a seasonal beer festival going on. So it was something to do with Lent, Tom, and I don't know if you know about this. It was something to do with Lent, and the breweries. I think it's something to do with like a Bavarian brewing thing. And the breweries brew a beer, and it's known as a strong beer. And the Augustiner one was like 8.9%. And there was literally a beer festival in the main hall of the Augustiner Keller, and all they were serving was steins of this 8.9% beer. We were there.
It's the origin of what's it called? I can see the bottle.
Is it Salvatore?
Salvatore, yeah. It's the origin of Salvatore. So it's basically monks cheating to get out of not eating by consuming beer that was horrifically calorific. And the way you do that is make it really strong.
Right, okay. But it's fantastic. Fantastic. I mean, brilliant festival. I mean, we were there. The beer halls in Germany. So this is one of the things that kind of didn't catch me out on this trip. It kind of like made me go, oh, okay, we need to make other plans. The beer halls in Germany don't open much past 11:30. Like if you want to get served after 11:30, you're probably going to struggle. You get kicked out, and they don't muck about doing it either. So we were there at kick-out time in Augustiner. So picture this. It's quite a cold 5 centigrade night. We're in the beautifully lit gardens of the Augustiner Keller. So the Augustiner Keller has what they call the beer garden, and it is literally it's probably half an acre around the main building, and it's got all these different things going on. It's got these other little huts and these other little kind of cabiny type private party bits. And then what it's actually got through the garden, if you go on Google Maps, you'll see them. It's got about 9 or 10 of these like ice rink things. And this ice rink game, it literally translates to stone throwing. Bavarian stone throwing is like the literal translation. And it's kind of a cross, Tom, between bowls and curling.
Okay, interesting.
It's a bit weird. So curling,
equivalent of our kind of old school pub Skittles. Is it kind of their thing?
It probably would be. These rinks they're all like professionally cooled. I mean, obviously it was 5 degrees. It was pretty nice actually on the Saturday during the day. I mean, no condition for ice, but they've got the facilities to make these ice rinks. It's a proper they take it properly seriously.
Oh, it's actually frozen. Okay, it's not just
This isn't natural ice. This is like not manufactured ice, but they've got the cooling links underneath the rinks to make it cool. And what you do is you go in there.
In my head, for some reason, when you said rink, I didn't immediately go ice. I knew what you were saying, but I thought I was expecting like a sheen marble slate or something. You know what I mean? So
it's proper ice.
Okay,
quite impressive. And I don't know if anyone's ever seen Hershey's Kisses. They're like a Christmas sweet. They've got a wide base, so they're almost like cone shaped. Well, these things look like that. They're the kind of cone shaped. There's a stone on the bottom with a metal rim, and then the wood's kind of cone shaped, and it goes up to a handle. And it's like curling because you sort of slide it or throw it along the ice. But then instead of having curling's always got its fixed center point, isn't it, under the ice, that red kind of point.
Yeah.
Where it becomes like bowls there's this block of wood, and it literally is like just a block of wood off a tree. And that kind of moves around the game, and it's really aggressive. And what you can do, you can go there and say, or ring up Augustina and say, hiya, I'd like to book a rink, please. And I think it costs about 60, 70 euros an evening, but split between 10 of you, it's sod all. And then you say, can I have a 50-litre keg of Augustina Helles? And literally you arrive, there's 10 steins, a 50-litre keg, and you're ready to play. And this is a wooden keg. So when this isn't forced, this isn't like CO2 charged lager. This is like naturally carbonated wooden tap in a wooden barrel lager. Quite often in Munich, if you've never been before, you'll get like wood, like remnants of the barrel or remnants of the knockout in your glass. And it just makes for an incredible drinking experience.
Yeah, it's pretty rare to get wood conditioned beer anymore. Obviously, they do it at Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Incidentally, I'm going somewhere this weekend that's also got some wood conditioned beer. But
very nice.
Yeah, pretty
you know what
rare.
The beer is?
I do. It's Old Peculiar, which narrows it down to 2 pubs in the entire world. So I'm going to one of the 2.
Yes.
If you know, you know.
Yes. It's different, just a different drinking experience. You can knock those back like they're going out of fashion, those lagers and those steins.
It is unreal. I've had it before.
It is really, it's quite good. So I'm the chairman of the club this year. It rotates every year. So we do a chairman's trip away. So Munich was my trip. And obviously in the club, we've got some younger guys that are sort of just your generic kind of young lads going out, 18, 19, 20-year-olds. And they got their beer and they were like, what's this in it? And I was like, it's the wooden stopper that's been smashed to bits when they tap it. And they're like, no, I'm going to get that changed. That's not right. And I was like, you asked for that beer to be changed, they'll punch you. These waiters will punch you. I was like, beer's a religion down here. Just bloody drink it. I was like, you don't realise you're drinking it, but this is some of the best drinking experience. You know, this is one of the best drinking experiences in the world, drinking an Augustina Helles, wood barrel conditioned out of a stein in the Augustina Keller.
Don't get much better than that.
No, it was good. It was good. It's quite good that trip, that sort of chairman's trip, because with me being chairman, I could kind of like tailor it to what I wanted, which sounds selfish, but equally I knew the lads would like it. So yeah, there was that. That obviously the Hofbrau House we talked about before was just incredible. The Augustina Keller was incredible. The Augustina Stammhaus, which is the kind of more central one, that's a very oldie-woldy kind of medieval beer hall. That's really good. But one of the highlights has to be, and I haven't got it, I'm going to go and get it in a minute. One of the highlights has to be walking up to the Weistefan brewery that was an old monastery brewery. That was just Paul swore at me. Paul's beer reviews, I put it in the group chat. He swore at me when I was there and I sent him a photo. Yeah, that was a highlight.
I'll be honest. I was a bit miffed that I wasn't there. I'm not gonna lie. That was, it sounds like something pretty special. Yeah. Any more tales from Germany?
We had a fantastic walking tour. That was really good. Not really beer related. Well, actually, that's a lie. It was a generic walking tour, but literally everything surrounded beer. And you obviously, when you go to, we know, don't we? Standing or sitting here in the UK, we know that beer is like a big thing in Germany, especially Bavaria. Yeah. But when you have that walking tour and they talk about 2 beer hall putches, which putches is like a coup or a protest, like a putch is like a German word for like a violent protest. There were 2 beer hall putches where basically the government needed more money and they were going to raise the tax on beer and everyone went to the beer halls to start smashing them up. There were 2 of those back in, I think, the 1800s and 1900s.
Okay.
And everything loosely linked to beer in a way, whether it was a monastery brewery like Weistefan in 1040, when the story goes right back in Bavaria, in Munich, to be more specific. And even up to the modern day, there was just, it's just a different thing. Like you walk into the main square and there's people relaxing at 10 o'clock with eating a croissant and having a beer. It's not because they're pissheads. It's just different. It's a proper solid part of their culture. Properly solid part of their culture.
I saw a funny anecdote about that the other day, which was it was a couple and he was British and she was, I'll be honest, I can't remember another European country. Probably no, it wasn't beer related. But anyway, she was from somewhere in Europe. It doesn't matter. Probably France, Spain, Italy, Switzerland. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it was kind of just like an exposing the difference in the drinking cultures between mainland Europe and the UK. And it was like it was Christmas, they went and like Christmas Day and stuff. Like obviously everyone started drinking early, right? And that went through and was normal. But then Boxing Day came around and the family were going, do you want some wine at 11 a.m.? And the guy's going, I can't get on it now. I'll be battered by 3 p.m. This is not going to work. And he was really confused. And then he was like, the weirdest thing happened. They started drinking and then they stopped.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was just quite funny. It was just, you imagine the look on his face where suddenly when 2 p.m. rolls around, they go, we're not having any more now. That's it. Fine. And then start again later on or whatever. Like, yeah, it's just a... I'll be honest. I've found myself doing that a little bit recently.
Yeah. What sort of day drinking and then sort of calling it a day and enjoying the rest of the evening?
Yeah, kind of. Definitely, sport in the middle of the day is kind of accelerated this with all the Six Nations that's been happening.
Yes.
But like, watch the first half of the first match. Half time, like, you know what? Yeah, it's about 3 o'clock. Beer would be good. Have a beer. Have one over that second half, then it's like an hour, wait till the next one. It's like, okay, I'll get my next one at the start of the next one. Have 1.5 or something. And then it gets to 6 p.m. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Not really bothered now. And it's just kind of 3 slow beers and it's just nice. And then tomorrow's still fine, which is probably the route that we should all have been taking forever, but it's just not in our drinking culture, unfortunately.
Well, we are known as a nation of binge drinkers, aren't we? And I think there's a massive difference between, because Germany are like drinkers. Like I say, you go into the Mariensplatz, which is a stunning central square where they've got a glockenspiel and a fantastic kind of, the old kind of clocks. Yeah. They've got this thing where like it's massive, it's way up in the sky, like you're crooking your neck. And on at 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock only, there's like a display and everything rotates and everything. Mariensplatz is probably one of the kind of hip places in Munich. And like I say, there's people, and it's a classy thing to sit there with not steins, half a litre, which is just less than a pint in the UK. Yeah, it's good as. Yeah. It's a classy thing to sit there having your croissant, maybe smoking a fag and drinking your beer. It's a totally different. So Germany are drinkers, but in England we like to get smashed up, and we are binge drinkers by definition. We're awful for it, and the Americans are as well, and and even the French are. But I think it probably boils down to.
Not so sure about the French.
Oh, I don't know, mate. I've had a couple of nights out in France. It's pretty wild.
Okay,
but certainly, but even Cologne was different to Bavaria or Munich.
Okay,
they were just different places. The nightlife in Munich is, don't get me wrong, you can go out and you can find, if you hunted, you could find the clubs, but they're on the edges of the city, and there are the kind of cheap bars, but they're not as many, they're not as common as they are in the UK. But Munich is different to Cologne. Like I say, the beer halls kick out at like 11:30. In the UK, they'd be going on till 4.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference. And actually, as a tourist, it makes for quite a unique drinking experience, because you do start drinking at midday, and that's normal because you do what the locals do. I mean, we had to go. We had to go out to a place. We had to go. So when the beer hall finished, because we'd had quite a heavy day, so we got off the plane on the Friday, went to Dachau concentration camp for a few hours, which was just like a mind blowing experience for however many reasons.
Yeah.
Then we went to the Hofbrau. Then the Saturday we went on a walking tour. Then we done a Franziskanism. We went to the Augustiner Stammhaus, and then we went to the Augustiner Keller. But by the time the Keller finished, it was like, yet again, that British thing, we just like warmed up. It was getting towards midnight. The night is young. But all the beer halls and many of the beer bars in Munich had closed. So we were walking back, because the Augustiner Keller is probably a 20-minute walk from like the main sort of pedestrianised city centre. And a couple of lads got a kebab. And we got talking to these group of people, and the girl in there was like, if you want to go out, go to Münchner Freithart, which is a place like Freithart area of Munich. Okay. And even then it was like pubs and like quite calm bars. It felt like you kind of crowded local more than a bar. It's very different.
All about that. I'll be honest, that sounds...
Oh, mate, I loved it. It was so good.
Yeah, I can't imagine anything worse than a rowdy club at this point in my life, I'll be honest.
No, not at all. I mean, I am 35 and I sound like I'm 60, but yeah. I mean, look at that for a Weiss beer. Look at the colour of it.
What you got?
This is Benedictiner Weiss beer. So you see a Benedictiner, you'll often see them in the UK around Oktoberfest time. Outside of Oktoberfest season, you're not really seeing them that much. It's probably not a really fashionable Weiss beer, but I tell you what, it's a bloody good Weiss beer. Cheers, everybody.
That looks very good indeed. Well, I've stayed on the lager, but I've gone a little bit closer to home.
What have you got there? It looks quite Bavarian on its label.
It does, and the beer in the glass looks fantastic. But it is
fantastic.
A Sam Smith.
Oh,
pure organic lager. I went into a Sam Smith's pub for the first time in my life a month ago, I think it was.
Yeah,
that's how long it's been since I've done a stream. At least, if not longer, probably quite a bit longer. I tried to get kicked out.
What, phones?
Yeah, swearing. Yeah. I'll be honest. I find this weird. I know I shouldn't, and it's immature, and they want to do this environment, so that's what it is. And I'd be fine with it if the guy who now owns it wasn't a complete. The word I'm not going to use the word on your stream. But
I mean, you can. I don't care anymore. You go for it.
So I was like, I'm going to see how. Anyway, so my first test, it was my round. I was out with a load of mates. First test comes to pay. Funnily enough, got no objection to having your phone on you if you're paying with it. So yeah, to be honest, I'm always in two minds with Sam Smith. I really like the beer, but everything I hear about that guy is just.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I think it's clever. I think nowadays I get it probably when it came in, probably in the late 90s, early 2000s. Now it's just like a nice USP for them. You know, if you've got any half idea about beer, you know about Sam Smith's pubs and the culture. And I think it's quite a nice little USP. I think it just sets them apart, almost like Wetherspoons is known for being cheap. You know, Hungry Horse is known for turning out bang average food for £5 a plate. Sam Smith's is known for, well, Samuel Smith. Sam Smith makes him sound like the crying singer, but Samuel Smith's is known for just being a bit dark and mysterious and a bit. And the beer, I have to say though, Tom, I agree with you. I think the beer stands up.
Yeah, the beer does stand up. I wouldn't have the narc with their rules if I didn't know about the asshat that owns it. Basically, like it's just I just want to annoy him, truthfully, not anyone else.
Is it like Percy Smith or something? Whatever.
Is it his grandson or something?
Yeah, I can't remember his name. He's a bit of an old battle axe, isn't he? Charlie Keeble, Mark. Hi, Mark. How are you? Good to see you, Charlie. I haven't seen you in flipping ages. Charlie is 15 or 16. He's the son of one of my good friends, Joel, and he often pops in. So, hello, Charlie. Hope you're well, mate. Mark Jones Gibbon, how are you, mate? Evening, gents. Hope you're both well. Tom, how are you? Tell Mark.
I'm very well, thank you, Mark. Since I last saw Mark, he's acquired an additional name.
I was wondering this. I said this on the last stream.
I must have missed that.
I said this on one of my last streams,
which is not a phrase one often uses.
I think we've got a Mark Jones and a Mark Jones Gibbon that come in the chat.
Is this not the same Mark Jones? Am I confused?
I don't think it is, because I said to Mark Jones Gibbon last time, I was like, you deliver. I think Mark Jones delivers bread out to Norwich and stuff. Mark Jones Gibbon, I don't think does that.
No, Mark Jones lives near Huddersfield.
Yeah, I know, but he's Mark Jones, I'm sure, is a delivery driver that delivers. Okay, I'm sure it's bread for Warburtons.
Okay.
And I believe Mark Jones Gibbon. Hello, sorry. This is a stream. Mark Jones Gibbon, what do you do for a living? Because I think you're different from Mark Jones. Yeah, I'm certain, or I was absolutely smashed and got my wires crossed. Both ends.
I'm quite far away from the screen that I'm looking at, so I can't make the avatar out to tell you whether it's the same Mark Jones or not.
There we go. But we've been gassing on. How are you in the chat? We haven't seen you in a little while. Thanks for coming in. Really appreciate it. Had a chat with Tom the other day. There's a little itch at the back that I need to scratch for YouTube, and I don't know what it is. I was having a look at his smile. Don't know. I've got my life in order a little bit better than I was a very busy guy 4 months ago, with lots of different things. But a change in my work situation has meant a change in other situations. And it means that I've got a bit more time, and that time's meant that I've been able to lose half a stone. That time's meant I've got more time for my children, or my child, and my family. Right, Tom, I think you are correct. Mark Jones, I'm a bread man that works for Warburtons.
But are you now confused? Have you seen this before and now think it's the other Mark Jones?
This is what I feared. This is why I put a little disclaimer in before I ended that sentence. So, Mark Jones Gibbon, do you deliver stuff out to Norwich? And have you
ignore that bit? Mark Jones, are you the Mark Jones I've met at Lord's or not? That's all we need to know.
Yes, that's the easiest way to do it.
Now that will summarise our concern. We'll know.
I can't even remember where we were. The ADHD's kicking in.
You got your life in order. You're now spelt spirited gazelle or something.
I mean, if spelt means still got a pretty sizable beer belly, then yes. A few things have aligned. A few things have aligned that mean that I'm kind of got like, there's a little itch. There's a little itch that I need to scratch, and I think it is to do with YouTube, and I think it is to do with beer, because I'm still deeply passionate about beer. A lot of you message me on Instagram from time to time. Right, Mark Jones Gibbon. No, Tom. No, that isn't me, mate.
We've got
yes, I knew it was correct. Okay,
we've got 2 Mark Joneses, but the one, you got confused. But yes, we've got 2. I
kind of got the Mark Joneses the wrong way round, but yes. I was right, but deeply wrong at the same time. Weird.
You were. Okay.
Story of my life, guys. I can tell you that. So there's a little kind of like passion vacuum in me, and I think it might be to do with bread.
Sorry, the passion vacuum.
Oh, for God's sake! Right, I'm gonna get right. That's me demonetized for today. Thank you very much.
Well,
yeah.
Do not use Mark.
I don't know how to go from here.
Just address the 2 comments that you skipped past, and then we'll go.
I will. Sergio Martin, how are you, mate? Good to see you alive and kicking, Mark. Just about, mate. I've had quite the month. And hello to Crummy. Good to see you, Sergio Martin. Thanks for coming in, mate. Il Corvo, the bread man. That's such a classic profession. Wish I could describe my job in 3 words. Worlds. True. You mean it says worlds, but I know you mean words.
I might struggle with worlds, to be honest. It's quite in depth.
It's true. It's true. We'll come back to that, because there's been a bit going on professionally as well, which with the horse box, which I want to talk to you guys about.
Oh.
Mark Jones Gibbon. Mark, I'm from South Wales, so Norwich is a bit far to deliver. See, this is the weirdest thing. I'm sure that Mark Jones delivers stuff. I don't know what he delivers, and I know for a fact he does, because he comes out to Norwich, and he's messaged me a couple of times when he's been like, Mark, I'm in Norwich on Wednesday. You're around for a beer. So, which is weird. So Mark Jones Gibbon and Mark Jones have quite a similar profession, which is where the wires are getting crossed.
There you go. So you were about to tell everyone about your grand plans to return to YouTube before we got sidetracked by your vacuum cleaner.
I mean, grand plans is probably a bit of a stretch. I mean, no, it's just a bit of a. I think it might just be a little itch I need to scratch. I think, which is a bit like, it's kind of funny, because I said to you, Tom, didn't I? I was like, I wish I didn't do like this is the end live, because at the time it's probably more of a reactionary thing. I was I think I was just being a bit frustrated, getting a bit frustrated in certain areas of my life, and I think it's probably a bit of a reaction to that, and which is every reaction to something's always a bit more dramatic than it needs to be. I think we can all probably, I think we can all pick out a point in our lives where that might be true. But yeah, I don't know. Like I say, there's a few things that have happened. I'll tell you, I'm just gonna be straight up. I think there's a change in my professional life, which has meant my kind of capacity. I don't want to say mental health, because it's such a buzzword where everyone goes, "Oh, flipping out," It just means like my capacity to think outside of my work has been like massaged and put to a level that I can now feel better again, if you know what I mean. I was never bad. Trust me. It was always stress related. And I feel like a few things have happened professionally where I'm sort of better professionally. That's meant, honestly, that I'm earning a little bit better money. The cash flow's better. It's just a few little things that happen in a professional life where you a lot of the stresses have gone, and they're always about money, aren't they? Be it I'm not earning enough, or they haven't paid me, or all this nonsense. Anyone that's owned a small business will know that. That was getting to me, if I'm honest. That was taking up a lot of my time. I was the heaviest I ever was, and now I'm within half a stone back, and I'm working hard on that. Because I've not got the stresses, I can concentrate more on my family. So it means that if I maybe have to come up to my bedroom or my bedroom, that sounds weird. Maybe have to come up to the spare bedroom or the studio and record a video or edit it or something. It's not like taking away as much time as it used to, because that time was at a premium before because of the stresses and strains of running a small business. It's just meant like, I don't know. I'm just really happy at the moment. I feel like the old me again, and I haven't felt like that for a long, long time. Before YouTube time, probably, a long, long time. So there's that like little thing there. There's that little thing that's like, go on, do it, mate, do it. Go on, I dare you. I dare you to go and get that new supermarket beer and do a review on it. So I'm kind of at that position. So no, it's all good news. So yeah, don't be surprised to see another video come up soon. Yeah, and I want to thank Tommy for Tommy's been talking me through it. He's always. See, I'm like the devil. If I was on your shoulder, I'd be the devil, and Tom's the angel. And I know Tom's the bald one with the beard, and he looks like he should be the devil, really. He's not. He's an absolute angel, and
I'm not either. I'm the one in the middle of the two, actually pulling a sort of level line between them. I think. Look, everyone has these moments where you can only do this out of a want for doing it. It doesn't pay to do it, right? Like
it's not a viable business decision.
No, it's not. No, it's not at all. I'm 3 years in, and occasionally a video will pay for the product that I reviewed. Like that's where So it's not even breaking even. So because that's occasionally. So you got to do it because you love it, and when other stuff is taking all of your mental capacity and energy, it's really difficult to love it because it feels like you've got to do it. So you've just got to go, do I feel like doing it today? Yes or no? And I've done the same thing. The amount of videos I put out has dropped slightly, not because I don't enjoy doing it, but because once you need to go through the ringer a couple of times with this until you work out that you can see it coming. You can see the negative coming. So you go, let's address it now before it becomes problematic, and just drop the amount of content that I'm doing or make easier content or whatever it is. And then pick it up again once you get excited. It's just, it's you gotta keep ebbing and flowing, and don't ever say I have to get a video out XYZ, because that's when it all goes quite wrong.
See, I used to put myself under quite a lot of pressure to do my schedule. So I had a schedule in my brain, and that was the schedule. And it was like I'd come home and I'd be mega stressed from my day at work. Like it was okay. Like the day at work was okay. It's just the stress that I put myself under would just be off the charts. Then I'm going to have to get in, film a video that I don't really want to make because I don't want to drink a beer because I'm stressed and not relaxed. And I prefer to consume beer when I'm relaxed, and because the enjoyment factor gets lost.
Yeah. So that's it. Really interesting. Sorry, I do want to interrupt just because I found this really interesting. Like I've never talked to anyone else who's the same as me. I drink more when I'm happy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right. So like if I'm like, because the stereotype is you've had a bad day, you go and have a beer, right? Like if I've had a bad day, the last thing I want is to be inebriated. I'm sorry, I don't know why. I'm
having a squash on the sofa.
Yeah. I'm having a Diet Coke and a sulk. Like that's all that's going to happen. Like I don't know why that is. Maybe it's more common than I think, but yeah, I've always kind of had that association that people that like to drink will drink when they're not happy to make them feel happy. It's like if I'm not happy to start with, the drink's probably not going to help, so I don't bother.
No.
So yeah, interesting. Sorry. Anyway, carry on.
So no, I can't remember. Sorry, Tom. It's nothing against you because I think you made a really good point. But yeah, no, I don't know where I was, but no, it's not. It's all positive. It's really positive at the moment.
You were saying, hold on. Yeah. You got to the point where you're saying you were coming in and you didn't want to film because you'd had a bad day.
Yeah, I didn't want to. Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to film because I've had a bad day. Not only do I have to then force a beer down my neck, I then have to go down to the kitchen, sit on the worktop for probably 45 minutes, editing, making a thumbnail, doing all the bits and bobs that YouTube wants you to do. And I just fell out of love with it because it was just crap. I was forced to do it. The returns are crap. Not that it's ever about the return. It's not. Twin that with a couple of things where I'm like, I just don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. So it's quite doom and gloom, actually. Happy Friday, everybody. But no, it's it's more the positive side. So yeah. So now I feel so much more chilled out. I feel like my old self again, to be honest with you. And I want to get into my passions again. And one of my passions is still beer. And I love it, and I still talk to people ridiculously about it. Tom will tell you I'm still active on our. We've got like a little group chat together. I'm still active on that as I have ever been. So it's not that the passion's gone. It's just I've probably. I don't know. It sounds really heavy, doesn't it? Sounds really heavy. But hey, we'll move on. Let's get some things. And Mark Jones says, "I'm the guy that mentions Grey Trees. What a brewery they are! Weren't they in a bit?" I said this last time, but I don't think they were. I thought they were in a bit of a pickle.
I've not had anything from Grey Trees.
They're bloody good, mate. I've had a lot of. I say a lot. That's a lie. The majority of stuff I've had from Grey Trees has been cask, and it's been really good.
Where are they based?
I think they are out sort of. I'm going to guess like Cheltenham.
Let's have a look. I'm doing a search.
I'm probably so far wrong.
Let's have a look.
Stu says, "Congratulations on losing weight. I'm in the same boat, pal. I've been going to the gym 5 days a week and I've almost stoned down in 8 weeks. Mate, fair play to you. Yeah, drinking this stuff is it's calorific and we can't get around that." Kevin Parton, how you doing, Kevin? Thanks for coming in, mate. Welcome back, guys, and welcome back to you, Kevin, into the chat. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Kevin says, sorry?
They're in South Wales.
It's not a million miles from Cheltenham.
No, but it's definitely not Cheltenham.
Oh, wrong. I mean, I'm wrong.
They're quite far into South Wales. It's quite far. They're between... if you drew a triangle between Swansea and Newport and then just went north at the intersect, they're about there. So.
Okay. Good brewery. Really good brewery. Kevin Parton says, "Are you from Aberdare?" Mark Jones says, "Yes." Mark Jones Gibbon says, "Yes, I am, mate." Mersey Beers, how you doing? There's a face that I haven't seen for a long time. I hope you're well, mate. Not far from me then. Is it Abu? Does it say Abu? Yeah.
Ebbw Vale.
Ebbw Vale. Yes. Mark Jones Gibbon says, "I'm just down the road. I'm in the Grey Trees tap room now."
There you go. They are close.
Mate, I remember having a banging pale ale from them on cask. Like, you'd look at the pump clip and it was like pale ale 4.2% or something. It was insanely good. Mersey says, "I've had some Grey Trees at cask beer festivals. They weren't standout for me." Fair play. Ooh. And he says, isn't it pronounced Ebbvale? Probably.
I've got no idea.
I don't know. I'll tell you what. Clue. Everything you think about pronunciation goes out the window when you go to Wales.
It's true.
It's just there's like double B's and double S's, and it means I don't know. I need a lesson in it, to be honest with you. I've got Welsh heritage in my family, and as far as I got was Border.
I think an alarmingly small amount of people in Wales can speak.
Well, the language. That's true. Okay. That is true. Yeah, I think when was it Mark Drakeford? I think he announced that he wanted to reintroduce Welsh into schools. I think that kind of, I think that was quite poorly received. Neil Long, hi everybody. Hope you are well. I'm going to skip a comment, but I will come back. Nice t-shirt, Mark. Right, this t-shirt has a story.
What is it? I can't see it.
And the story is when I went to Malta about a year ago, I went to the Lord Chambray tap room. So I
remember it vividly.
Lord Chambray, fantastic brewery. They are the leading light in Maltese brewing, and that sounds a bit silly and that sounds a bit playful, but Maltese has a big beer scene, and Lord Chambray are like right at the cutting edge. So when I went to Lord Chambray, so rewind, Malta is an island that's got a lot of Italian kind of heritage, a lot of Italian influence, and the Italians are slim people. So when I went in there and asked for an XL t-shirt, they were like, "Good luck, mate." I was like, right.
No.
I think they probably produced about 3 of them a year.
Yeah.
And Neil went out to Malta 6 months after me, maybe a little bit more, because Neil goes out to Malta 1 or 2 times a year, maybe even 3 times a year. And he knows the guys. I went in there and I spoke to the guys behind the bar. I was like, "You know Neil Long?" They were like, Neil Long." It was the weirdest thing in the world. Honestly, I'm not even joking. Literally spoke to
the man, the legend.
Honestly, he's known there. He is known in Lord Chambray. It's quite funny. So Neil went to Malta a little while after I did. And then he was like, I think I mentioned to him, I was like, "Oh, bloody hell." I was like, I tried to get a shirt from there. I couldn't get one.
I'm not going to
like, "Why?" And I was like, "Well, I'm an XL, I'm a bit of a chunky boy." And I was like, the Italians are quite slim, probably half the size of me. Anyway, Neil went. So before that, again, Malta's split over mainly 2 islands. So you've got the main island of Malta and then another island called Gozo. And you have to get the Gozo ferry to go to Gozo. I don't think there's an airport there. You have to get the ferry. Neil came back, and I think he intercepted. I think I said to him, "Oh, mate, are you at the Lord Chambray Brewery? Can you get me an XL t-shirt? I'll send you the money on whatever, PayPal or something. I'll send you the money. Can you get me an XL t-shirt?" He was on the Gozo ferry back to the mainland. Picked the message up. He was like, "Oh, mate, sorry." On the ferry back. Next thing you know, he's like, "I'm going back. I'm going back to Lord Chambray to get you the t-shirt." I was like, "You absolute legend." I was like, "You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it." And I know there would have been some fantastic beers at the end of Neil's voyage to get my t-shirt. But the fact that he went back to Gozo to get my t-shirt is just incredible, because it's probably half an hour ferry. I mean, it's a very beautiful ferry. You go past this thing called the Blue Lagoon. It's a stunning, stunning place. But yeah, this t-shirt has a story. So thank you, Neil. Good to see you, mate. And I appreciate it. And he follows up with a nice t-shirt. Thank you very much. Kevin Parton says Ebba Vale. See?
Ebba Vale. Okay. That's the
But apparently a W means O in Welsh.
Well, we have another one. We have another recommendation. Just keep going. You're fine. Keep going.
Gotcha. CJ, how you doing, CJ? All right, you schlags. Good to see you, CJ. I hope you're well, mate. Thanks for coming in. Really good to see you. Matt Williams pronounced Ebba.
Vale.
So it's kind of the same, but bah is a bit more of a thing. Neil Long says, "Hello, sir," to Mersey Beers. Il Corvo says, "More younger people are speaking Welsh now, or are able to. Welsh lab works for me, can speak it." I think I'm a bit of a traditionalist, so I think losing that or diluting it down is probably not a good thing, because I like USPs and I like the kind of traditional stuff. Equally, I can see that if more than half the country doesn't speak it, what's the point? I'm kind of like in that position.
They should probably focus more on their rugby skills than the language, to be honest, at this point.
Okay, Mersey Beer says coming. You've just insulted the whole nation.
Sorry. Look, they had a fleet of years where they shouldn't have won anything and still managed to beat everyone. Not everyone, but still managed to beat England, even though I don't know how. Witchcraft, Alan Wynne Jones's magic ears. I don't know, but it was really annoying. So I'm just slightly smug now. Anyway, I've not got a wooden spoon to show anyone, so that's something.
Well, that's true. Good old Italy, they'll be there for forever and a day with that thing. No,
they won't.
Wales
have got it, mate.
Wales didn't finish lower than Italy.
Yep. Italy beat Wales.
Shut the front door. Did they actually?
Yep. Italy beat Wales and Scotland. Just want to throw that out there.
My word.
Yeah.
Wow. You're rubbish. Right, what is your beers? It says at the crummy beard. Got a huge deal on whiskey last month. Full size bottle of Old Forester for 21 quid at Tesco's on clearance. I haven't cracked it open yet.
Me too. Same one. Yes. Cracking price. Also not cracked it open yet. It will do soon.
There we go. You should do it together on a live, you two.
Are
you still doing YouTube beers? I think you are. Chris's beer reviews. How long are you staying on for, gents? A little while, mate. Log in. You've got I sent you the link earlier. Chris has been at a car show all day. Very jealous because I love classic cars. He'll tell us all about it, I'm sure.
I've probably got half an hour tops, but yes, come and replace me, Chris.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. To be fair, I'm kind of the same. I'll be probably on till 6:30, 7:15. Neil Long, Mersey Beer says, at Neil Long, have you been to Pentricor's new bar where Jackson's used to be? It's Neil Long. He's been everywhere. He's probably there on the opening night. He gets invitations and stuff now. Mad. Mark Jones Gibbons says, depends on where you are in the country. Welsh is spoken much more in mid and North Wales.
That would explain. Mersey Beers is going to be much closer to North Wales. So,
yeah, for sure.
There you go.
Kevin Potter says, Black Flags. I know.
They're Welsh flags.
Spoon. Huh?
They were Welsh flags.
It's Black Flags to me.
Look on the screen.
I thought it was Black Flags as in don't talk about, you're disqualified, don't talk about the World Rugby. Neil Long says, at Mersey Beers, not yet, mate. Maybe tomorrow. Might go to Preston tomorrow, the last day of the Rivington pop-up bar in the cellar in Plough. So I think I need to go. Rivington are insane. I hope they're still doing as what they were doing a year ago. I've
been trying to get on their campsite for 18 months, and every time I message them, I was like, no, sorry, it's full. I'm like, jeez, come on.
It's good though. It's really good. You think that is like a contrast in the story to all these other sort of small breweries that are closing left, right, and centre.
True. I just want to be able to go without like 6 months' notice.
Yeah, I know. Maybe we should do it, Tom. Maybe we should just go there. We should just plan a weekend and just go.
Yeah, we should. We should, and do it in advance so we can definitely get in, because it would be good. It would be good.
I'll tell you what I'm about to drink. I'm about to drink a beer that I've got to put on Instagram yet, that Forest Road have sent me today, called Lager.
This man's not even been making videos and he gets sent beer. What's going on?
I know. Literally, I rocked in with all these beers from Adnams, and so Adnams is right behind my local craft brewery's pub, so I can kind of go to two places, get a load of good beer. And I walked in, I was like, "Oh, thank you, Forest Road." This beer is called El Jefe, which I think means the big. It says the big, but it's 3.4% alcohol, so I hope it's good.
Is this in the same factor as Little John? Is that the idea?
It's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
The opposite of what it is.
I'm wondering, it says Cerveza Más Fina, which I know is on the front of the Corona bottles. So I'm wondering whether it's a corn lager rather than a malt lager. Very, very pale in its colour. Yeah, I would say this is like a Corona type corn. It smells okay. It smells quite limey on the aroma, actually. It's a kind of a split between malt and corn. It's not got that Corona. You know, Corona's got that quite clean. It's not malty. It's not deep, is it, on the aroma? Corona.
No. It's very crisp and
it's
slightly overly sweet for the body on it.
Corn, I find corn smells slightly metallic as well. When I'm getting a bit of that here, but not to the levels of Corona.
Okay. Dun dun dun.
Cool. Blooming heck. That's quite nice. I was halfway through. I was like, "Where's this going to go?" And it always just comes in, you think it's quite corn. You think, yeah, again, the corn's in there and the maize, and you think it's going to be sort of slightly there, and it goes, and then it comes in with the hops, but it actually gets deeper and malty as it goes on. Part of me thinks there's definitely maize. I would definitely say this is kind of a maize type Corona beer, but there's definitely some malty, bready notes in there that are throwing me off a little bit. It punches well above its weight.
Is there an ingredients list on the can?
Okay, so it hasn't got corn in it.
He's waffling.
So this is how stupid this is how stupid beer reviewing is. Water, malted barley, malted wheat, sugar, hops, and yeast. It's definitely got a Corona type thing to it.
Is it added sugar though that's doing it? Because it'll take some of the body out. That might be why.
See, I rarely drink beers with added sugar, so I wouldn't know. It's definitely got a sweet, limey thing to it. That's all right, you know. That is not. Yeah. I'm gonna put it out there. It's not my favorite lager in the world. It's not gonna make me run down the shops to get some. But for 3.4%, if you're driving, you can have probably 2-3 cans of this.
That's not medical advice, right, by the way.
No, not medical advice. Don't say Mark told you that, because I don't need it. But that's not bad. But yeah, because I think. Aren't Doritos the worst things you can eat because they are so carbohydrate forward?
I don't know if that's true, but probably
because it's maize. I'm sure someone told me that.
It's probably the amount of oil. Yes.
Yeah, or the oil. But yeah, that's not too bad for a 3.4% lager. It's probably one of the better sub 4% lagers I've had. Let's go up. Why are we not working? StreamYard. Why are you not working? There you go. Mosey says, yes, I'm doing a panel hopefully tomorrow if the resident Aussie beer reviewer Sammy shortens that beer review. So, oh, nice. Yeah, because he's changed his name. He was always Sam Small, wasn't he? But now he's changed it. I hope he's well. Matt Williams, also North Wales, Welsh, slightly different to South Wales. Don't hit me with that. I can't even begin to get my head around Welsh in general. Mersey Beer says, right, Tom, Rivington's Beer Festival is the last weekend in August, not the bank holiday weekend. They offer entry and a camping ticket. Come down. It's going to be great.
We need to do that.
We do need to do that because that will be one of the best beer festivals I've ever been to in my life.
We should do that. Let's arrange that immediately.
Mersey Beer says El Jefe means the boss. I know because the model of my kayak is called the same. So it's like a kind of Bruce Springsteen beer.
Could be, or right. Alan Sugar beer.
We've got a classic car. We've got a classic car now. Chris, you look like you've been to a classic car show as well.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. I've seen Chris in glasses before. Been to a classic car show and all of a sudden he needs optics. What's going on?
Yeah, I've actually been wearing my glasses an awful lot more. It's just time to acknowledge the fact that I need to wear them. So I actually wear them more now than I don't wear them. But it was time, and it's amazing how good the world looks when you can see properly.
I put my wife's glasses on. She's got like the weakest prescription. It all goes HD. It's really weird, but I'm fighting it because I don't need glasses. All right, staring into these LED screens and things.
Yeah, mine's funny because I don't really need them that badly. It's quite a weak prescription, but as soon as you start getting used to everything in HD, you don't want to take them off. It's like
no, that's right. No. Yeah, I do like it, and I've got a couple of pairs, and I haven't managed to lose a pair yet, which is what I used to do. I used to lose them, and then I'd never replace them. But I've made a real effort this time to get 2 pairs, and I haven't lost either pair, so I'm doing well.
Yeah, that's what I worry about. I'm surprised my head's still attached to my body after I go on a night out, let alone my glasses. They'll be smashed up in some drain there somewhere, I don't know.
Yeah, more than likely.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a good day out. Obviously, I met up with John. We went to the classic car and restoration exhibition at the NEC. I'm shattered. It's amazing. You go out for a day of leisure, but you come home absolutely shattered, don't you? It's just doesn't seem right, does it, really? And the wife will get in very shortly from a hard day at work, and I can't say to her, I'm absolutely shattered, love.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a really good day. Good day out there. Some fantastic cars there. Wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be. I thought there'd be a lot more, but still an awful lot to look at with lots of blasts from the past cars. Cars that... See, I am a type of a car nerd, but I don't know the ins and outs of engines. I can't always look at a car and tell you what engine size it is. But what I like with cars is memories that they bring back, memories they evoke, and feelings and emotions. And there was all those cars there from... I was born in 1975, so I've seen an amazing range of cars over the years, and all those childhood memories were all there. So that was really fantastic. Some absolute highlights.
Nice.
Yeah, really nice. Whereas there's a few things I'm nerdy about on cars. I can look at a light cluster and tell you what car it's from. Whereas John's a bit more nerdy than I am, but as we all know, anyway.
It's more. I heard him. I was on the phone to him earlier. Went, hello, mate. Yeah, I'm really good. Yeah. Oh, an Uno Turbo, which I presume was a Fiat Uno.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, his level is completely different. But then that's why he has a motoring channel.
It's true.
So, but yeah, really good day out. And then upstairs they had the car jumble, which was just epic. That was very difficult not to spend a lot of money. And I didn't. I came away.
What were they selling?
Didn't spend any money.
Well, what were they selling in the car jumble?
All sorts, bits and pieces for classic cars, loads of parts. Then you've got the usual type of stalls that sell model cars and tin signs. And I nearly bought a tin sign, and it was 15 quid. No, a tenner. And the bloke didn't take card. He said it's cash only. It was like, who does that at an exhibition? And I said, well, I haven't got any cash. He said, well, you'll have to go and find a cash point. No, I won't.
I just won't buy your product, mate.
Yeah. Who doesn't take card at an exhibition? You know, where there's people with a lot of money that probably don't carry cash anymore.
So I regularly use a sum up machine, and the sum up machine charges me like 1.5%. So he's lost a sale over 1.5%.
Exactly, yeah.
It's just, and I do get it. It's a protest for a lot of people. I do understand it. Neil Long says, Tom, Mark, this before you join, Chris. You need to do it. So Chris has a converted camper conversion. Rivington Pike is beautiful. If you stay on the campsite, you can also visit the Black Edge Brewery, 10 minutes in the taxi, another exceptional microbrewery.
Nice. There
we go. Mersey Beers follows that up with Rivington Beer Festival. It's called the Farm Trip, by the way. Tickets haven't been released yet.
Very good.
I would like to do that. Rivington are one of those breweries.
We need to be on that when it happens.
They hold a level of prestige in my brain. Jimmy C says, Marky Mark, great to see you. Good to see you, Jimmy C. I hope you're well. In Finland at the last check. You're probably in Japan or something now, knowing you, but I hope you're well, mate. And Jimmy says, cheers all. Cheers to you, good sir.
Cheers.
Happy Friday. What are you drinking, Chris? The rest of that Ninkasi lager?
Oh, mate. I did drink the rest of it, but boy, did that take some pushing through.
What, the front end or the other end?
Yeah, exactly. Do you know, the weirdest thing is it wasn't a particularly hazy beer. It was quite clear, and I didn't like it. That was also clear. But the last pint I pulled of it was really good, and it was really hazy. The last bit in that barrel was very, very nice. The beer was just a completely different looking beer. Complete hazy beer, like I'd poured a different beer. And that was pleasant. It was just the other 6 pints that were pretty awful.
Who actually brewed it, Chris?
I think it's French. I think they're a French brewery.
French lagers? Oh, crap.
Yeah. Aren't they just? There's a lot of love for it in Ninkasi. A lot of people do like it, but it certainly isn't a lager. I don't know what it's trying to be. But there are a lot of people that like it. I'm not one of them. But yeah, it's French. From what I understand, it is definitely French. And it's definitely one that I will not be buying again. That is for sure. I have got a new keg in the freezer at the minute because I had to stop at a shop on the way home and get a keg, and it's the Franziskaner Keller beer.
Oh, it's so good! I had it on bottle. At the keg, it'll be better.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that in an hour and a half time when that's chilled down. That'd be nice indeed. So yeah, so I just grabbed a few cans of Budvar on the way back and chucked that in the freezer. I'm really low on beer. Actually, very, very low on beer to the point where I've run out almost.
Wow! I'll tell you what, we talked about it earlier. One of my all-time drinking experiences was eating a five sausage meal in the Franziskaner house in Munich, drinking a Dunkelweiss.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Love a Dunkelweiss.
You know those moments in your life where you're like, shut up, everybody. I need to just take it.
Yeah. They're glorious moments, aren't they?
Oh.
I've had a few moments like that when you just want everyone in the world just to stop so you can just feel. Just for 10 minutes. 10 minutes would do.
Yeah, that's all I need. Just 10 minutes.
Yeah.
April. What? Who said that? Right.
So what are you gents drinking? I'm on my phone, so I can't really see your bottles properly.
Well, I've just realised I had half a bottle of Benedictine Hell that I was sitting on for some reason.
Oh, yeah. I've run out of interesting lager, I think, so I've gone local.
Of course, yeah. Bit of Blue Monkey.
And I've just cracked, actually, the Adnams Black Shore Stout.
He's also gone local. Very nice.
Which I really like.
Yeah, that is nice, that stout. Yeah, it is nice. I need to get back over to that part of the world.
You like coming over here, didn't you?
Yeah, I do like coming over there. We're definitely due to come back over there this summer, but I keep getting I can't get any leave at work. It keeps getting declined. So I'm off this week, and it's only because someone gave me their annual leave. They said they didn't actually need it, and they knew I hadn't had any for so long. So they let me have, they said, I'll cancel my leave and you can have it. So a bit of a nightmare. It's not what you want when you've got a camper van sitting there that you want to go out on adventures and then you can't get time off work.
No, not good.
No. So there you go. These things happen.
Are you comfortable talking about the other channel, Chris?
Always. Yeah, absolutely.
How's the other channel going?
That's doing well. That's ticked over 2,000 subscribers now.
Nice.
Considering I don't put many videos out on that channel, and I did a video for it yesterday or the day before.
That's what made me ask, because I saw it. I watched it.
First video I've put out in over 4 months on that channel, and it's ticked over 2,000 subscribers. It helps a lot of people, and I've said it time and time again, that's what it's there for. And the comments I get in there are just remarkable, and it just drives me to keep doing that. But I only ever want to do content that I think is relevant, which is why I have such big gaps, because I could fill it with nonsense, but that's not what I'm about. So I don't. I just do things when I feel it's relevant. But I get medical students. I've had a medical student comment recently saying, I'm studying this at the Royal Nursing College, and your information is far more detailed than what they're teaching. And it's just like, that's mind-blowing. You know,
yeah.
Absolutely mind-blowing. So yeah, it's a good channel. It is my favourite channel out of the two that I have, just because of how many people that helps and that I love. I love helping people, and it achieves that. So happy days. All is good. So yeah, it's doing well. Thank you very much for asking.
Oh, no worries, mate. I literally saw your videos. Like I say, a day ago, 2 days ago, and I thought I'd ask. Mersey Beers says, I went to Beerex a couple of weeks ago, card only. Yeah, it was card only when we went there 2 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago. Chris is right. Who brings cash to an exhibition? It is kind of true. It is true. From memory,
John came up with a point actually. He said maybe the NEC or the organisers or whoever, if they see they might be linked to your card machine and they take a proportion of it. I don't know if that's true. If that's how some exhibitors pay for their stand, by giving them a portion of their card sales. So maybe it's a bit of that. Who knows?
But equally, that's the deal they agree to. So trying to go in the back door.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Jimmy C is a qualified doctor in Finland, and he says this: if beer is a solution to all elements, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm not sure it is, but it helps sometimes.
Jimmy, has your practice got any vacancies for like patients? Oh, you've got a cold, Mr. Drury. Well, I'll have some Vice beer. That'll sort you out. Thank you very much.
I think years ago they used to prescribe Guinness and cigarettes to people years ago.
God, it's mad, isn't it?
It's absolutely crazy because there was always this myth that Guinness was full of iron, so they'd prescribe it to pregnant women, and it isn't full of iron. Even Guinness themselves say it isn't. Absolute genius, isn't it?
Just tastes slightly metallic, so it must be.
Up
right?
the doctors. Right, talk amongst yourselves because I've got to go and get. I was going to say an artifact, but it's only probably 3 weeks old, so I can't call it that. But it feels like an artifact. But right, give us 2 minutes.
It can't be an artifact if it is literally 3 weeks old.
I know.
Well, it depends on the life form observing it, I suppose. But,
well, I suppose.
yeah,
I suppose it depends on if it's donkey's years old and he only got it 3 weeks ago. Then I'd go with that, but it doesn't sound like that, does it?
No, definitely not. Speaking of artifacts, what was your favourite car from today's adventure? What was the standout piece?
Absolute no-brainer for me. This won't be a lot of people's choice, but it was the biggest car I regret selling 19 years ago was my Mark II Toyota Supra. There was a couple there that were mint, and what upset me is the value of them. One of them was for sale for 22 grand. 19 years ago, I parted company with mine for 500 quid.
I can't believe. I'll be honest. I'm surprised I honestly thought that number was going to start with a 1 or a 2, and I don't mean tens or 20s. I mean hundreds, of thousands.
They don't hold as much value as like the Mark IIIs, but they're slowly going up.
Interesting.
But it just, I've got so many happy memories of that Toyota Supra. I still remember the reg. It was F411 NUF, and I just had a lot of happy memories with that. So that has to be my standout because I regret selling it, and my heart sank when I saw one today. I still could have had it in my life. But
you can't predict those things, can you?
No, you can't. I'd say this is also a bit left field for me as well. Was the Pontiac, the Firebird. Yeah, the Firebird. I've taken pictures of it. It was a lovely kind of deep, almost burgundy colour with the big bird on the bonnet, the eagle, whatever it was. I mean, that was just stunning to look at. To stand next to that and just see it in that pristine condition with the beautiful artwork on it, the bird on the front. You know, I know the famous one is the Burt Reynolds black one, but this one just looked even better than black. That was quite a standout piece, and it was getting ignored by a lot of people just walking past it.
Interesting. Weirdly, someone up the road from where I lived as a kid had one. It's the most bizarre scene when every other car is an Astra, a Corsa, a Fiesta, and then a Pontiac Firebird. Like it just doesn't make any sense.
With a V8 motor.
Yeah, that was lovely. There was some lovely. Of course, I'm a big Ford fan. There were some lovely Fords there. The RS 500 Cosworths. There's a few of those. XR3Is. Loads of Mark 1s, Mark 2s, RS 2000 Mark 2s. And there's some really top draw wide-bodied Ford Pumas as well, which you don't see them anymore because they just rotted.
I was about to say the proper one, not the revamp that's on the Fiesta on stills.
Yeah, no, the proper ones. They were nice. There was some lovely big old Ford Granadas, which I love a Ford Granada. I did lust over a lot of the Fords as well. There's some quirky Japanese stuff there. There was all sorts. There was quite a collection. There was the Messerschmitt cars, Bond bugs, 3 immaculate Bond bugs. They were superb. There was just loads. And then upstairs was all the cars for sale. There was a big auction area, but they charge you 10 quid to go and look at the cars in the auction area, which I wasn't paying. I thought that was a bit of a liberty.
What?
Yeah.
Go away.
Yeah, that did annoy me. So it's fenced off, so you could see them, but they were deep. There was a lot of cars going off for auction over this weekend. But yeah, you had to register and pay £10 to go in, which I thought was a bit of a liberty, really. So I didn't.
Yeah, just a bit.
I did a video. I did some content. I wasn't going to, and then I decided I would because, of course, John bumped into a YouTuber he knows who's a car YouTuber. So he had his own car there, which was an old Renault 10, I think. So he got in that car with John and they live streamed today. So I think it was Jeff Buys Cars or something.
Oh, yeah.
So they said there'd be half an hour, which I knew that wouldn't be the case. So I did film some content. I did over 40, I think about 40 minutes. I did a very whistle stop tour in 40 minutes of the whole place, and John was still going.
That's unusual for John because he's quite shy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's quite shy. Station. One word answers. Yeah.
Anything from the smallest cog there?
Who?
The smallest cog, Richard Hammond's thing.
No, that wasn't there. I was surprised he wasn't there. I was surprised KGF Classics weren't there. I was surprised. I think Johnny Smith's there tomorrow. Late Break Show. His channel is superb.
His channel is brilliant, isn't it?
I love that channel. I think Auto Alex was there. Yeah, his channel is immense. Love his channel. But I think they're all there on Saturday. I think all the big serious YouTubers are there on Saturday. Tomorrow.
Right.
There you go.
Artifact time. Even though it was produced probably 3 months ago, I bought this from
Go full screen. Go full screen.
The brewery. I don't like going full, but I will because this. I like this. This is you're all going to go. What are you on about, Mark? This is a load of ponce. I bought a Weissstefan ceramic.
Yes, of course.
Half litre from the brewery. Literally. How do I exit this now? Please tell me.
Love that.
That's it. Now you're staying there.
And you know it's from the brewery because it doesn't say the oldest brewery in the world. It says Älteste Brewery der Welt, which is the German. That is from the brewery.
I can
drinking. I have to say, we the weather was okay in Munich a few weeks ago. It was okay. Like we there was no rain at any point. We'd done all right. It wasn't particularly cold, even though it's not far from the Alps. If you go up to a certain church tower, you can see the German Alps from the church tower. And the particular day. So if you go to Munich, the Weissstefan brewery is in a place called Freising, which is right near the airport. Like literally like the closest town to the airport. It's like couldn't be better positioned, to be honest with you. So on the way back, we went to the Weissstefan brewery. So we got on the train, we got off in Freising, and it was like, oh, Weissstefan, yeah, it's up there. And you look up, you're like, oh, it's up that massive hill. So it was like, right, okay. So up we went. Probably, I sent that photo to the group chat that you guys are in, and probably 45 minutes later, we got up to the brewery. It was quite a long trek. And when we talk about drinking culture, and we talk about like times of the day that you drink and everything else, we arrived at 10:30, and they were full. Their tap room was stacked, and if there was a table there, it was like, oh, this is reserved for like 10 minutes time.
Wow.
But drinking the Weissstefan Helles out of a wooden barrel.
Oh yes.
I can't tell you how good that experience was.
That does sound good.
And the garden, the Weissstefan beer garden, it was like off-peak season, so there was no tables, there was no chairs, there was like nothing really. There was a couple of those like, you know, those like kind of metal grill style benches and tables that they have in.
Yeah.
Normally you see them in council installations, don't you? There was just a couple of those, and it was like I was there with 11 of my really good friends drinking probably one of the world's best lagers out of a world-class serving experience. It was just incredible.
Yeah, and that is, for me, is the epitome of beer, isn't it? Drinking the most amazing beer with your friends, sitting in a pub shed in your garden reviewing a beer. You know, it doesn't have the same impact, does it? That's the best time to drink beer is with friends, isn't it?
Yeah,
and in that, you know, being in that country where it's made, on the doorstep with your mates, that's heaven, isn't it? That's heaven right there.
It doesn't really get better than that.
It doesn't. That's what
we're so lucky. I mean, there were some pretty big. It's kind of funny because, like I said before you're on the stream, Chris, I said to Tom about how it was like a chairman's trip for the social club I'm part of. So it's like that's my choice. It's chairman's choice, and obviously you don't sort of go, "Oh, we're going to go to the tulip factory." All that niche stuff. It's like we're going to go do some beery stuff.
Of course.
And I said, to the guys, I said, on the way home, I was like, "You boys that don't really have much of an interest in beer, that's absolutely fine. I'm not talking down to you.
Yeah.
But I was like, you've experienced things this weekend that some of my friends and just general beer people will chop their left arm off for.
Absolutely.
And they are having a beer in the Hofbrau, like drinking the Hofbrau original lager in the Hofbrau house with an umpire band. They are drinking the Augustina Helles in the Augustina Keller. They are going out the Weissstefan, and they were like, yeah, it's fine. Like we got to the Weissstefan, it was Sunday, and like the boys had a big night on the Saturday, me included. And I was just so excited to be there. I was like, yeah, 12 steins of the Helles. And the boys come up to me, they're like, you haven't ordered me a beer, have you? I'm like, yes, I have. I was like, if you want to drink any beer in the world, it needs to be here, and it needs to be this beer, and it needs to be out of a stein.
Yeah.
So I may have had 6 pints before coming home, but
fair play. That's what it's about. I can join you on the ceramic. I've got the Hofbrau one.
Oh, I like that. I'm a traditionalist, as I said earlier. I like that.
Yeah, it's the handles on them are so chunky.
They're
I'm gonna ruin these for you now. I'm afraid. Well, I might not ruin them for you, but I've never been keen on the ceramics, and I'll tell you why. I always think they look like an 1800s chamber pot.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But they're a bit prosthetic Lynn Brown as well, aren't they? But...
Right, I've never exactly what they are.
I've never clocked that before, and now I want one even less. I don't know. Oh dear. Well, on that enlightening note, I need a pee, but I need to leave soon anyway, so I'm just going to skedaddle. I'm afraid. I've got some stuff to do. I expect some photos tomorrow of some. Oh, Chris has done it again.
It's the hands. If you bring your hands together, it does the fireworks.
Do it again, Chris. There we go.
What is this feature on StreamYard?
It's not StreamYard. It's an app.
It does other things as well. I think it.
Oh my god!
There you go.
That's the best.
Yeah, expect some pictures of some class Yorkshire beer tomorrow as I start my weekend venture. But until then, have a great weekend, everyone.
Tommy, thank you for coming in, mate. Always good to see you face to face because we talk a lot on the phone, but have a lovely time wherever your adventures may take you.
Far and wide, hopefully. See you guys soon. Cheers.
See ya.
And then there were two.
The whole thumbs thing. Did you watch that on the live with John?
I was skiing, but I caught up with it. Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know my phone did that, so I just did that, and it just.
But it did it with Tom earlier.
Nuts, isn't it? Is Tom on an iPhone?
No, he's not. Which is why I'm a bit confused.
Well, yeah, I thought maybe it was an iPhone thing, but if Tom's not on an iPhone and it did it with Tom.
But Chris, beery stuff with you over the last couple of months. Obviously, I haven't spoken to you in this through this medium for a long time. Any notable points apart from that lager?
I've had a few good German beers. what did I have the other day that was craft? That was just, I had a couple of Arbor beers that were really good.
Oh, they are excellent, aren't they?
Oh, they are. And it kind of spiked my interest again in craft, because I've definitely dropped off on drinking craft beer. And that's not because I don't like it. I do like it. But what I don't like is the places where I was buying it online have hiked up their minimum spend, and they've hiked up their delivery charge, which I thought was a bit outrageous. So I stopped buying beers online.
Yeah.
And I've generally just been going to supporting local beer shops and buying a lot of German stuff. But then I did go to the beer shop and buy some craft, like the Arbor and a couple of others. So they were outstanding, and it did make me think, oh, I've missed it, because I've been drinking a lot of German, and I love the German beers. I absolutely love them. But it did kind of switch me back on a little bit. But I don't want to pay outrageous postage. It irritates me. So I might have to do another little visit to the beer shop in St Albans and just buy some craft beers rather than German. So they were really good. My videos on the beer channel did definitely drop. I certainly wasn't doing many. I've put a few out recently, but I'm back in that. I'm probably not going to do a huge amount more. That doesn't mean I'm stopping. I'm not. I'm just not in a hurry to do them. Sometimes I get a few beers in and I think, yeah, I'll review those, and I'll put 3 out in a week, and then I won't do it again for a month. I don't know how to explain it. It's not that I don't have love for beer. I do enjoy beer, but my love for reviewing beer has definitely dropped off. I'd much rather meet up with Paul, because he only lives 10 minutes down the road, and have beers and have a good time with him. Or sometimes I just want to sit in my pub shed after a pretty horrendous few days at work or whatever, and just chill out and unwind, rather than turn the camera on. Whereas before, when I felt like that, I'd still turn the camera on, but now I don't. And it's not because I don't love beer and the whole beer industry and everything that goes along with it. I do. I just have fallen out of love with reviewing. I'm not stopping. I'm not going to stop the channel, but it's not going to be, the videos aren't going to be as regular as they were. And I've got other things coming up that I want to kind of do, which are going to take time as well. But my love for beer, the fact that people watch my channel, the fact that I'm about to hit 1,500 subscribers on the beer channel is fantastic. And I try and reply to every single comment. I love that people watch. I just don't have the love for it that I did have.
Yeah, it's a funny old game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's difficult to explain, and you've been through it. You've gone through it.
Yeah.
I know you understand. And if watching videos helps people, that's fantastic. But it's got to do something for me at the same time. So yeah, I do still love beer, and I've done a couple of different things on my channel. I've done a couple of foodie things, and I've never said I wouldn't do food. If you read my bio, it says I'm predominantly a beer reviewer, but I will review food. I did review a McDonald's burger, but that was only because it had Frank's hot sauce in it, which I love. Frank's hot sauce goes on
in your camper van. I saw the video.
Yeah, I did. And I only did that McDonald's one just because it was Frank's hot sauce. I'm not going to go reviewing every type of McDonald's burger. I'm not going to be going and reviewing every type of ready meal. That's just not me. If it works for other people, happy days. I'm certainly not knocking it one bit. It's just not the route I want to go down. So I did my rotisserie chicken video. That actually just...
Your barbecue stuff is good.
Yeah, I've got some reasonable skill level with barbecuing. And I want to do more of those as well. The one I did with the rotisserie chicken over the coals, that didn't do very well, that video. It really didn't do very well.
But you know what? Sorry, I bet you enjoyed recording it.
Of course I did, and I enjoyed eating it.
The chicken.
I don't care about views as such, but I don't want to flood a beer review channel with food if people aren't interested. Even though I enjoy filming it, you're absolutely right. But I've got other plans. I've got other plans for another channel. And it's not because I want to become YouTube famous. I do actually enjoy being behind the camera. I do enjoy filming things that I enjoy doing and sharing it. That's where it comes from. And I'm tempted to do another channel around the camper van products, campsites around the country, reviewing those, incorporating cooking with those, because I love cooking outdoors. I love cooking outdoors with the camper van. So I am tempted to set up another channel. I think if I incorporate that into the beer channel, it's just not going to work. So I don't want, if people aren't interested in that, then I'm not going to flood my beer channel with it. I'll just set up another channel for people that are. So that's on my mind to do quite a lot.
There we go. There we go. A lot going on.
You've heard it
here. Get a comment, David. Evening in South Africa, but travelling back on Tuesday to the UK on Tuesday for a month. I'm hopefully moving jobs to Finland. Wow, Jimmy C, get in contact. In September, October, I need that doctor's contact.
There you go, Jimmy C.
Yeah, you will do over there, mate. It's all just impy stouts and incredible parallels over there, as far as I know. Never been to Finland, but
no.
Yeah, quite incredible stuff. So I was going to ask you what's been going on, but you've pretty much summarised your whole entire channel in that comment.
Yeah, I pretty much have, really.
And you've scuppered me a little bit. Obviously, one thing we need to talk about is obviously the state of craft beer in the UK right now. Yeah. There's been, I think I saw a news article yesterday where it said brewery closures were up 89% in 2023.
Oh, that's a big
which
number.
Is mad, isn't it? Like
huge number,
nearly double. Where do you think UK craft brewery is, or craft brewing is going? I've got my own opinions on this, but I'd be interested to hear yours.
I don't think it's, at the moment, I don't think it's particularly going in a good direction. I do think COVID helped a lot of craft breweries because they were getting a lot of exposure online through YouTube and other avenues. And before COVID hit, you were getting the boom of craft beers in supermarkets. Not long before, I know Brewdog had been around a while, and then Northern Monk followed, joined the party. Cloudwater joined the party a little bit.
Vocation were in there as well.
Vocation is still going strong. Let's not forget that they're still doing really well. And Tiny Rebel kind of joined the parade as well, and they were all doing really well. So I think that kicked off before COVID the kind of boom, and then once COVID hit, I think it did a lot of them a favour in a sense. People were going online a lot more to research. They were coming across a lot more craft breweries because they were stuck at home, so they didn't have much else to do but look for other areas. So I think the craft beer took a boom during COVID because people didn't have anything to do. Now COVID's gone, people are just resorting back to type. And with the elevated price of craft beers in supermarkets,
I'm not sure if Chris is freezing for everybody.
Products, the people are switching off from it. So I think a few more craft breweries are going to go. I do think some more will struggle. I do think a lot of craft breweries struggled because they didn't bother to have an absolute solid core range. So they just do one different style after another. That gets boring. Whereas a decent craft range keeps people coming back, and then they'll sample the new ones that come out. Where I think a lot of the craft breweries suffered because they just didn't do a solid core range and stick to that and introduce a new one here and now, every now and then. So I think if craft breweries need to survive, I strongly believe they need a good core range. I've said this in videos that I've done before. Mad Screw are a great example. Vocation are a great example of it. And I think if they
look at Verdant though, even Verdant, one of the cornerstones of British craft brewing, they're now brewing cask best bitters and pale ales.
I know.
In the pursuit of a core range, because there's certain beers of Verdant that like Light Bulb and Putty can't be considered a core range beer, but Light Bulb, what's the one with the orange? It's kind of like the Light Bulb design, but it's got the orange wrapper. You know the one I mean.
I do, yeah.
But like bonkers. isn't it? Like bonkers.
Yeah. And I think the problem with Verdant as well, and is, you know, some of their pricing is pretty outrageous. You know, what they sell putty for, I think, is just an outrage. And people are going to turn off from them because they're going to be like, you're putting out this putty every year at £8.50 a can. And there's better dippers for less money.
Oh, way better.
It's such a hype beer, and people are now realising that. And they're like, nah, I'm not going to pay you £8.50. And in fact, I'm not going to bother buying any more beer from Verdant because they're taking the mick.
Literally every double IPA that Sure Shot have brewed, in my opinion, this is my opinion, every double IPA that I've tasted from Sure Shot, and I've tasted probably 4, has been better than putty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Putty's just got that kind of like history story, the beer, and I'm not slagging Verdant off for it because I rate Verdant for producing it every year, and I love the way they do the hype, the social media. They get different artists in. I actually met one of them randomly in Colchester in a bottle shop one time. The way they do it is fantastic, and they know that the putty has almost got its own. Putty for me, I don't know if you feel the same, Chris. It's like a sub brand of Verdant.
Yeah,
like putty it's its own entity, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
and it's the way they do that, Verdant. You have to like doff your cap, toast them, because the way they do it is incredible.
And I wouldn't just, you know, I absolutely agree with that. But in times when, you know, people are struggling financially, and they whack out an £8.50 beer that isn't worth £8.50. I think, you know, I think that's irritated a lot of people.
Yeah.
In times when people are watching their money, it's not going to do them any favours. And I think if they'd have sold that at £6.50, even £6.50 is probably strong. But I think they'd have.
Is it though, Chris? Is it though? Is it? Bearing in mind, you go back a year. And I'm just talking the broader, this is like a conversation, not sort of like mugging off your point. Tiny Rebel 505 American New England IPA or something, wherever they review. That was £4.50 a year ago in Morrison's.
It's not even a good beer.
It was crap.
Yeah,
so it's so if you're talking about experience, and the people that are going to buy this beer are like serious beer guys, and the quantity they keep it at, it kind of still retains that bit of premium, that bit of value. It's not that they're pumping it into. I think putty is probably a bit of a unique thing. I think in this conversation, I think putty's relevant. I absolutely agree with you. I think putty's relevant, but I think it's unique. I think if we're going to talk about beers at stupid prices, we do have to talk about supermarket stuff to start, because that's where everybody starts. I know you go on the UK craft beer forum, everybody starts slagging you off for talking about craft beer in the supermarket. But at the end of the day, I got into beer through supermarket beer. Exactly. And I'm not alone in that.
Yeah, I did. It's where I started my journey. Absolutely.
Beers like Northern Monk Transient, North Sputnik.
Some of the
incredible beers. North Modular. What a beer that was back in the day.
Yeah, they were amazing beers.
It's such a sad state of affairs where the grassroots has gone. Like the grassroots of beer has gone. Even Transients had a facelift with a label update, and they often say label updates mean different beers and stuff. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I think beer people, beer nerds like us are probably struggling to find themselves a space in the UK craft beer industry. And every so often you do come across a brewery like Arbor. Like Arbor are amazing. Like they should be one of the biggest breweries in the UK. You get so much more for your money. You'll pay £4 for a can of basic craft beer for £4. You'll pay £4 for a 5, 6, 8 can, which is a pint.
That's right.
Arbor. You know, that's not a reason not to buy. I don't know. But sorry, I'm getting really passionate about this. I do feel deeply passionate about this.
And it's good to be passionate about it because
I know. Sorry, I'm going to let you talk now because I've talked for about 10 minutes.
No, I've spoken a lot anyway. But it's people that are passionate, like me, you, and lots of others. That passion does need to be shared, and whatever view we kind of have on putty doesn't really matter. What matters is we're talking about craft beer, and we're talking about the likes of Arbor, who will, for £4.50 you get a pint can, which is incredible, and it's an incredible beer. That passion has to stay alive, because if it doesn't, they're all going to die.
And on this, I'm going to bring up Neil Smith's comment. Neil Smith says, putty sold out in days.
Absolutely.
Verdant has avoided supermarkets and keeping prices and quality high has nailed that upper price for limited quantities. Honestly, Neil, I absolutely agree with you.
I do. I agree with Neil. If you say something's a limited run, people are going to buy it. It's that simple. You know, it's basic marketing, but I also know Verdant, you know, they do only do it once a year. But yeah, anything with limited. A friend of mine, this is kind of similar, but a different product. He hand makes tools for wood carving, and they are exceptional tools, absolutely exceptional. People have tried to copy them, and they can't get them to the standard that he makes them. And he makes them all from scratch. But he will only sell a limited run. And the moment he puts up on his website 5 of these types of tools, he can pretty much name his price, because everybody knows he's probably not going to make them again for another year or two. So he can literally name his price, and people will buy them, and they do buy them, and he sells out before he's even made them. So it's the same principle with putty, isn't it? It's limited. It's got a massive following, putty, so it's always going to sell. Simple.
Yes. So I think there's a further conversation. It's like a sales conversation about perceived value, what you think you're getting, and real value is in what you get the other end. And your friend with the tools, it's the same with putty. It's the same when Emperors release a beer. It's the same with who else in the brewing game does this. I would have put Azvex, but they've done too much now. Sure Shot have done too much now, but in a good way, because they're developing. You kind of lose that novelty. When there's that slight novelty factor behind the quality, you simply, if you're in the game, you cannot help yourself but invest in that product.
Absolutely. Okay, so what are your views on, I've given you my views, what are your views on the craft beer industry moving forward?
Moving forward, I think if we're going to move forward, we need to look back slightly. So I think looking back, I think the craft beer game became really one-dimensional. And I think that's been a struggle. And I think that's where we talked about Verdant. We're doing I think that's where they've nailed it. I think not the resurgence, or it's more the way that certain breweries have surged on, like Braybrook, like Pillars. I think those guys, they look cutting edge, but they could be, because they're more lager focused, more lower ABV focused, because obviously the big ABV stuff I think has had its day. I think we're talking about lower ABV stuff now. I think that's where it's going to go. I think, but the problem is you just don't know where it's going to turn. Like lager, you would never have said 2 years ago that lager would be like Pillars and Braybrook would be the guys. You thought Verdant, Cloudwater, and Azvex, Sure Shot came in, Arbor, Rivington, even very hot forward breweries. I think we can say that malt forward beers are coming in, but I don't think that's necessarily the thing. I think some British pales are coming in, hot forward British stuff. I think that could be the thing. I don't. The short answer is I don't know. I don't know. I think the next fad will be, certainly in the UK, British hopped pales and lagers. I think we're going to want to see a bit more out of a lager. We've had a lot of malt forward breweries producing lagers now, like Braybrook. Braybrook Pillars, they're very malt forward breweries in terms of the lager scene, but I think we could see the hop forward lager scene come in. And I think it's going to be with British hops. I really think that.
I mean, for the last 2 years, people are saying it's going to be the year of the lager. And I don't think that's ever really happened. There's been
I think last year it probably did.
There was a lot of breweries making good lager, but I still don't think it took off as well as people were expecting. So I'm still waiting for that real rush. So I don't know. I don't think lagers took off as the way they were expected. They definitely lifted without a shadow of a doubt.
I think it needs to find its space. I think
it does.
What you can't do is say we're going to have this massive, like hops and stouts and the sweet stouts are like indulgent things, aren't they? They're almost like a gluttony thing within beer because it's flavour, it's sweet, it's moreish, it's giving you all those little things that you want as if you're a gluttonous pig like I am. But so then to give someone a lager out of a bottle, it's going to be like, oh, something's missing. But I think that's why lager never took off. I think it was too weak.
Yeah.
Lager was to me, lager is a weak beer. We'll take the German stuff out, take the German wooden cast stuff out.
Yeah.
But I think there's a space. There's a space for fresh, crisp tasting beer that's got that little edge, that little something, that little X factor. And I think that's where we're going to see, they call them IPLs. That's a load of nonsense. Yeah. They're just hop lagers. I think we're going to see, like Germans hop their lagers bloody heavily, but they hop them with noble hops like Bavaria Mandarina and Hallertau Blanc, that you don't get that American thing. But I think there's going to be a thing. And I think we're seeing it now. Even the beer that I'm drinking now, one of the most hyped beers out of my local brewery, is a pale ale at 4.7%. Well, if you're drinking Hofbrau Original at 5.1, 4.7% looks a bit weak.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to see that bracket, that probably 4 to 5% bracket, be it pales or lagers. I think that's going to excel. I really do.
I think it could. I think you're right on the high ABV front. I think that probably has had its day. I know there's still a lot of dipper faithfuls out there, but I certainly think a lot have dropped off. I can't remember the last time I had a dipper, actually. Cannot remember the last time I had one.
A long time ago. But that's that indulgent thing that we just don't have that lust.
No, because they normally come at a higher price as well. So I think you're right. I think the high ABV ones have probably had their day. And I think if breweries, some small craft breweries don't realise that they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
I think they are going to be in trouble. I think they are going to have to come down. But it doesn't mean you can't make a good beer at 4.8 or 5.1%. You certainly can make a good beer at that ABV. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think this year, that's where I think they do need to go, to keep going, and then maybe do a dipper every now and then, almost a bit Verdant style. But yeah, I want to see it boom. I want to see craft beer continue. I love it. So yeah, I hope. I mean, 89% closure rate. That's horrendous.
That's mental, isn't it? Up from last year, almost double. But yeah, bonkers. Chris, thank you so much for coming in. I've got to go because I've got dinner at 7 and I'm 8 minutes late already. These little emoji things happening. Mate, good to see you again, mate. It's always great to see you like this.
Thank you. Lovely to see you, mate. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm going to go and have
He is Chris's Beer Reviews. If you don't know him already, of course you do. Pumps out content left, right, and centre. Good stuff as well. Guys, thank you so much for watching. You'll get soddle from me for a little while. I might come back. I've talked about it earlier. There's the itch I want to scratch. It might happen, but for now, I'll see you in 2 months. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe if you'd be so kind. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. And I've hit cheers before I've hit end stream.